YouTube. I'm Daniel Claremont and I'm the Acadian Therapist. I'm also really excited to welcome you to this week's video, which is on the window of tolerance, which is one of my absolute favorite topics to talk about with clients. I first came across this model in a book about trauma therapy and just trauma education in general. So it's really, I thought it was really interesting, really groundbreaking, and made a lot of sense to me. But what I found over the years is that it pretty much applies to everybody and all the different emotions, all the different things that we go through. So I'm hoping to be able to present a clear enough explanation of it. It really is one of those topics that can get really big, and sometimes, if I'm honest, sometimes I might over-explain some things, which is the benefit of a YouTube. So if I'm rambling on, you can just fast forward to something that's more useful for you. We're probably going to be coming back and revisiting this video in later videos, just because the concept I find is really, really helpful. And just because I've had enough experiences with clients over the years where they say, oh my God, that makes so much sense. Now I understand my kids so much better. Now I understand my reactions so much better. Now I know how to get along better with my partner. So with enough feedback with that, I thought it was worth a shot to actually try to explain it here. So let's take a look at it. Probably the most common reason I hear when people reach out to me for counseling is, I want to feel normal, or I want to stop feeling a certain way. Another way of saying this would be, I want to be in my window of tolerance. So, while doing everyday things like driving to work, or heading out to sea, or paying attention in class, or even catching up with friends over a coffee or social media. Not to mention exciting informational videos on YouTube. They want to be able to focus and enjoy what they're doing. And so, when you have shifts in mood, or when distractions happen, you're able to tolerate the distractions and stay on track. Unfortunately, often little things come along, and when we get stressed, one of the common reactions would be what we call nervous system hyperarousal. Now, I'll thank you to keep your mind out of the gutter. That word does not mean what you think it does. Another simpler way to describe this state of mind is the fight or flight system, our brain's way of becoming more alert and ready to respond to different dangers we might encounter. Your brain picks up on a threat, signals your body to produce adrenaline, your breathing and heart beats faster, your muscles tense up. It's an intense combination of reactions which go on in your body, often even before you even realize it's happening. Here's a list of just a few of the symptoms that I came up with just off the top of my head, which line up with this kind of brain and body activity. Even though the reaction's perfectly normal and natural, as you can see, it can cause us a lot of problems, especially if your brain has gotten used to having to react so intensely. The most common diagnosis for this kind of chronic state of brain activity would be anxiety, but as you can see, it's related to a lot of the worst kinds of behavior we humans are capable of. But before we wrap up our chat about the window of tolerance, it's important to move on to our brain's last line of defense. What do we do if we can't fight or run away from a threat? Well, that leaves us with the brain's last resort, what the really smart researchers in the world have called nervous system hypoarousal. Again, I'll thank you to keep your mind out of the gutter. We're not talking about that kind of arousal. Stay with me. When fight or flight doesn't work out for us, our desperate brains will jump to freeze and submit. In the animal kingdom, we might consider the deer frozen in headlights, or the animal playing dead so that predators will move on. I threw together this list of common symptoms which can range from boredom to far more serious and life-threatening effects. In fact, I would even say that the brain fog that is pretty common whenever we try to pay attention for a long time in a conversation, in a class or meeting, would be part of this brain defense system. The major diagnosis we might find for folks whose brains have been in a long-term state of hypoarousal would be depression, Though, as you can see, it's also associated with a lot of other potentially serious and life-threatening conditions. When we take a look at the big picture, I'm hoping you can recognize that we all spend a lot of our time dipping into and out of the window of tolerance, which is absolutely normal and totally human. But for those more extreme ups and downs, a good place to start to get your brain settling down would be grounding strategies. Something which might help would be the breathing and dropping anchor exercises I shared in my earlier videos, and I'm hoping to get even more strategies up soon. Something else which I try to remind myself of, well, when my brain isn't able to handle a situation, I need to borrow another brain. We humans are wired for connection, so find safe people you can open up to and try sharing a bit. You might be surprised at how much others can relate to your experience when we stop pretending to always be in the window of tolerance all the time. All right, folks, that's all I had for this week. I hope that's helpful. I hope it sparks some new thoughts in there. I feel like every time I explain it, I learn new things about it, or I think, oh wow, it applies in a totally new situation, or kind of in a different way, even personally in my relationships and whatnot. But again, I'm hoping to make this channel useful, so I welcome any feedback. You can always go to my website. You can send me information there, put the comments here. There's lots of ways to get a hold of me. So if you like the video, click like. If you like the channel, click subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.